Jude Bellingham led the Bundesliga in the 22-23 season with 482 duels won. For the English national team during the World Cup, at just 19 years old, Jude Bellingham covered 51,000 meters of distance, ranking him second on the team. During that same tournament, he also completed 735 high-speed runs, 336 sprints, which also was second in the squad again at just 19. And now for Madrid, he has the second most actions of 21 kilometers per hour or higher in all of La Liga. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how you can get Jude level fitness so you could be making runs up and down the pitch without ever getting tired. I will show you how to get so strong that you win every single duel during a match, even when the opponent is bigger than you. And I will teach you how to get the most explosive first step out there so you can quickly get open to receive a pass, separate from your defender to score a goal, and much more. And I'm gonna do a bunch of videos like this, so make sure to let me know in the comments below which player you wanna see next. Whichever player gets the most comments or the most likes is the video that I'll do next. And real quick intro, just so you know who you're talking to, and if you should trust me, my name is Matt Stigler. I coach footballers from the youth to the pro level, and I have for 10 years now. But enough of that, let's get into the video. Jude Bellingham would not be half the player he is if he did not absolutely work his ass off to cover max amounts of distance on the pitch. Just ask Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti once said that the work that Jude Bellingham does for Real Madrid is more important than the goals that he scored during his first season. But you simply cannot do that work if you are unfit and can't put in the effort during training. So here's exactly how you are going to fix that. Many of the comments in my last two videos talking about medium stim and high stim talked about having tired legs versus necessarily having the lungs be the issue. And I can 100% relate. And while running is always going to be a part of the equation when we're talking about getting more fit, this is exactly what you can do for the legs to make sure that we're actually targeting those tired legs versus those heavy lungs. And that is going to be medium stim gym work. Now, the rules of medium stim gym work are going to be the exact same rules as we have for cardiovascular fitness in terms of 30 to 90 second work ratios with equal amounts of rest time. But I'm gonna give you an exact example of something that you can do to get more fit on the pitch today. And that is something called hard start medium stim gym work. So there are obviously a million different ways to do this. This is one of my current most favorite ways of going about this with my athletes. But if you guys want to see more of this, you want to see more advanced variations, make sure to like the video and make sure to let me know. So for this example, let's just pick one exercise. Let's just pick the back squat. What you will do is your first set is going to be the hardest. So you are going to start with 90 seconds of squats, and then you will rest for 90 seconds. The next set, you'll do 75 seconds of squats and you will rest for 90 seconds again. Because you have went down in the work time, but not the rest time, you have the option to increase the weight. Then the next set is going to be 60 seconds of squats and 90 seconds of rest, again, having the option to increase that weight. And you could keep going to 4 and even 5 sets of this while still decreasing that work time, depending on how advanced you are and if you have done this type of training in the past. But that's just one workout and that isn't that valuable. So let me give you something to do the next time and then the next time, and then you can just repeat this to get even more fit. So what I would do in the next session is I would start with 90 seconds of squats, but then my rest time would be what I decrease, and I would actually do 75 seconds of rest. Then on the next set, I would do 75 seconds of work with 75 seconds of rest, 60 seconds of work, and then 75 seconds of rest, and you get the point. Then the next week I do that session, I would do the exact same thing, but I would do 60 seconds of rest throughout the entire session. So just like during the high stim and medium stim fitness examples, we are teaching our body to actually recover faster. So right after you make that huge recovery run, saving your team's ass because you got the laziest wingers of all time, you can head to the other end of the pitch and knock in a goal. Now, Jude Bellingham is not jacked by any means. According to a quick Google search, he is 6'1", 165 pounds, and about 12% body fat. I think he might be a little bit leaner than that, but whatever. For the sake of argument, let's go with those numbers. So how is it possible for someone like that to win so many duels? And the answer is his strength. And this is where people always say stuff of, oh, Jude Bellingham never did this when he was younger. And listen, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know the exact sets and reps that a young Jude Bellingham did to get to where he is today. But take a seat because I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Jude Bellingham came from Birmingham Academy. He joined the academy at the age of 8 and became the club's youngest first team member at the age of 16. And yes, Birmingham City's academy does have a strength and conditioning coach that works with the academy players. So take a seat and get comfortable as I teach you guys how I get my athletes strength results like this so that you can get one step closer to being like Jude. So this is something that I have personally been using in my own training along with my athletes training that is currently my favorite way to get strong for footballers. It's simple, it's effective, and it's an easy way to get stronger without it negatively affecting your speed and power. And this type of training is doing a peak set with back off sets. It's different from pyramid sets, and I'll explain how. So what I've been doing for me and my athletes is I pick one, maybe two exercises to do that day that are my main compounds. One example that I love to pair together is a bench with a deadlift. And for each of these exercises, what I will do is on my first set after warming up, I will work up to a peak set where I'm going for a set of 5, 3, or 1, and I want it to be as close to failure as I possibly can. So we're trying to lift as heavy as possible for one set. Then I will do back off sets of 6, 8, or 10. So an example would be if I was benching, let's say I had a top set of 5 that day, and I found out that I could do 2 25 4 5 on that day. I would then back off and do 2 to 3 sets of 10, reducing the weight. And I will tell you how to progress this in a second, but the reason that this is so effective is because of the dosage. This allows you to lift heavy every single session, still get sub-max volume in, which is absolutely huge for building up that tolerance and that strength. And it does not lead to you being overly sore due to the lower amounts of volume. So you are still going to be able to sprint, jump, and play football at a high level. So if I were you and I were doing this for the very first time, I would probably just start off with doing this with one exercise per session, and I would start by working up to heavy sets of 5. And I would do 2 back off sets of 10. To find that right weight for the back off set of 10, there's never really any perfect percentage that we tend to go with for this. It's going to be how you feel on that day, but the most important thing is that you hit every single one of those reps. I do not want you missing any single rep on that sub-max weight. If you did that set of 5, start with 80 to 85% for those back off sets, and you'll just get more and more of a feel for it as you do these sessions. If on the very first session you miss a few reps of the sub-max weight, that's perfectly fine. It's not a big deal, but I'd much rather have you undershoot that weight. Then the next week that you do this, I would still do that heavy set of 5, but then I would try and do 3 sets of 10 at that same weight that we did last week. So on the heavy set, we were trying to increase the intensity, while on the sub-max sets, we were trying to increase the volume. The next week is where I would maybe switch that set of 5 to a heavy set of 3, and I would switch the sub-max sets from 3 sets of 10 to 2 sets of 8. So during that session, I'm increasing the intensity on both of them. So I would be increasing the amount of weight lifted. Then the week after that, we still keep that heavy triple, but what we do then is we do 3 sets of 8 as our sub-max sets. The week after that is a heavy single with 2 back off sets of 6. And the week after that is a heavy single, then with 3 sets of 6 for back off sets. It's a real simple progression. Of course, there are a million different ways that you can do this that I use with my athletes, but if you have never done something like this, I can 100% guarantee that this is going to work for you. Now, one of many reasons that Jude Bellingham has so many assists for Real Madrid this season is because of how quickly he is able to separate himself from his opponent using a quick first step. And despite the fact that he is a taller footballer, and taller footballers tend to have a slower first step than others, he's still able to quickly and efficiently separate himself from his opponents, and here is how. Now, to do movements like this on the pitch, we obviously need the ankles, the knees, and the hips all to be working together in a cohesive and efficient manner. But how do we structure our training sessions to make this possible? What I've often done with my footballers to get them results like this is give them 3 days of plyometrics. Each day will have an intensive plyometric variation. One day will be an ankle dominant, one day will be a knee dominant, and the third day would be a hip dominant. You can mix and match those however you need. Then the extensive plyometrics or the sub-max plyometrics are going to plug in the holes that main intensive plyometric did not do during that day. And this is the absolute best way for footballers to make sure that we have a balanced and high performing system. So here's an example. If the main intensive plyometric of the day is going to be a deep range of motion broad jump, that is going to be a sagittal plane, hip dominant, deep range of motion, slower ground contact plyometric. So if I'm going to do 3 to 4 plyometrics to complement this to make the perfect routine, I want to make sure to check these boxes. I want to do a different plane of motion. I want to do a different range of motion. I want to have a different dominant joint. and I want to create some type of force redirection. So because the broad jump is in the sagittal plane, meaning that it goes forwards and backwards, one of the exercises that I would like to pick would be something that goes side to side, like this exercise. To get a different range of motion, I would want to make sure to pick something with a short range of motion with faster ground contacts, just like this exercise. I will want to pick something with a different dominant joint pattern, so you can either pick from this ankle exercise or this knee dominant exercise. And I will want to do something that redirects my force instead of just going forward one single time, so this exercise would be a great addition. And then you'll just create a well-balanced plyometric routine for yourself so that you can have a significantly bigger impact on your team's performance on the pitch. Guys, I hope that this was helpful. Again, if you want to see any other videos with a specific footballer, let me know below in the comments and I will go about making that for whichever one gets the most comments or most likes on a comment. And I very much look forward to seeing you all next time.